think I'd better go and have a check round garden this morning now that storm's passed, and hopefully we ain't got too much damage. Not much in this container garden. We had to move it all yesterday because of those bad winds, and I don't think we'll be putting them back out today either because it's still quite windy. Let's have a quick look. Oh, potato plant had a bit of a bashing. That's that really nice big one that we were looking at quite recently. And these tomato plants seem to have coped with it, which is great. So not too much damage in that container garden. Pear tree's alright as well. Got some nice little pears coming on here now. We've got some tomato plants outside as well. Well, they're upright. I think we'd better get these tied up today because we're starting to get quite a lot of tomatoes on here. Especially on these two plants. Lots of sweet million cherry tomatoes. So I'll get them tied up shortly. Everything should be alright in these hoop tunnels. That netting does offer a little bit of protection from wind, and everything seems to be doing alright in here as well. Carrots and beetroots really shot up. So's them cabbages. Broccoli again going to seed. Not concerned about that at this point of year. And then we've got them collies in there. And I put a couple of cucumber plants in here. They were a couple of spare cucumber plants that I had, and I thought rather than go to waste, I'll just bang them in ground outside, see if how it happens. And we've got a cucumber on that one and all, so that's good news. But for a plant that wasn't going to get used, it's nice to see that it's having a try. And we've got some cherry tomatoes out here as well. I just put a couple of these cherry fall plants outside, see if we get out from it. I noticed there's a couple that's come off, so whether that's the wind, I'm not sure. But they're not damaged, so we can still use those. And I'll take off these orange ones as well while I'm here. Let them ripen inside. A couple of nice red ones there. So they're not doing bad for a couple of random plants. We'll leave those to grow on because there's a few more on there as well. But majority of those plants are in here. You can see there's a couple drying out as well. Certainly that one and that big one. So we better get them watered. And we'll do the same here. Some leaves are starting to droop on these peppers now. Looks like as potato plants managed to get through it and all. Although some of them are looking a bit tired. But at least they're not broke, so that's the main thing. The biggest of those plants I did move before those winds started yesterday, and I put them in that shelter. Because they're quite big plants, along with some tomato plants as well, which is not best ideas, but I was just trying to prevent them from getting battered. Because you can see a lot of big foliage on those. I'm going to leave these in here again today because that wind's still up. Not much point really in putting them outside. Maybe tomorrow will be a bit calmer. That T-Rex made it as well, which is good news. I think I might cut one of these trusses off and see if I can ripen these tomatoes indoors, because I've had another couple that's had blossom end right on bottom. I'm just worried about losing everything. There's one right there, look. That's got it. So I'm not sure what to do. Unless I buy some of that Calmag that D-Payne mentioned which apparently helps fix this problem. But if I keep losing them a couple of days like that, I'm soon not going to have any left. And now we've got that plant that's also starting to curl leaves. I don't think there's any on here that's got a problem. I'm going to cut one off and try it indoors. At least then I can maybe save some of these tomatoes. And if any of these start to get blossom end rot while they're off at vine, then I might end up cutting quite a few more off and just making chutney with them. I'd rather do that than lose them. Thankfully, everything out there seems to have made it through yesterday's storm. Thanks to being able to put things into shelters and in greenhouses. But the few that were left outside don't seem to have sustained any damage. And once again, we've got to send a nice little handful of cherry tomatoes. They're always welcome and they'll just keep coming and coming. At the moment, we're concerned about those plum tomatoes because every day it seems like we're getting at least one more that's got that blossom end rot. And we're trying that experiment where we just take off a truss and we'll put it indoors and see if we can get them to ripen in there where it's a bit warmer consistently. And hopefully they'll not start to rot while they're indoors. But I did also order some CalMag because I recorded that video yesterday. But Dee Payne did mention that she always keeps a bottle handy for that exact reason. So I've ordered one and we'll give that a go and see if it helps these plants, because that greenhouse is made up of all Italian plum tomatoes, and in this greenhouse all this side is also the same ones. So if we was to lose all those plants, that's over half of the tomato plants that we've got. So any way I can avoid that, I will. But on an upside, we are getting a lot of positive comments from people as well. First time gardeners that's been following the channel since beginning of the year. And one example of that is Katie. I got a message from her quite recently saying how happy she is about all the plants that they're doing. Lots of container things. And they've now started reaping rewards of that effort by taking harvests every week. So her and her husband have put a lot of effort in, even though this year has been pretty much ridiculous concerning weather, and yet they've still come through other side and they've now started getting those harvests. So well done to you two for sticking at it. This year has been very unpredictable weather wise, and sometimes it gets you to a point where you think, is it really worth it? And in my opinion, it is. There's nothing better than fresh homegrown food. It keeps you busy, it keeps your mind active when we've got all these things that we need to be doing, all these challenges we face throughout growing season. And I've been doing this for a few years and I still get problems every year, and so will you. As a community of gardeners, we can just battle through it, we can exchange hints and tips, and between us, we're definitely going to come out with an harvest by end of season. Thanks for being part of the channel, I really appreciate it. And if you're interested in seeing what we're going to be doing this coming week, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you then. Take care.